Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of In the Practice Room. Thank you so much for the support and the views on the last episode. And it's something that we're really hoping to continue and provide a resource and talk to fellow students about. So, want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Jacob Sweatt. I am a senior in music education and I am a tenor.
Okay, Jacob. So, the first question, why'd you choose to be music ed?
So I chose to be music ed. I actually came into K-State as a business major. So I was going to all those intro business classes and I didn't like any of them. I didn't want to go to class. And each night I was kind of struggling, not feeling like I was in the right spot. And throughout high school, I'd done some like musicals and plays and I loved all that stuff. So I was thinking like maybe I want to teach theater. So as I was thinking about that, the most exciting part of that was directing the music. So I decided I wanted to be a music ed major.
Awesome. So you talked about you switched majors after your first semester here, and I know there's tons of people who've done that. What was the process behind that? What was the driving force on that?
Yeah, so like I said, again, I just didn't feel like I was in the right spot. I didn't like my classes, and the most important thing is I couldn't see a vision for the future. I didn't see myself like going to law school after getting my business degree. I didn't see myself even getting a business job. I didn't want to go to the career fair. I didn't want to talk to companies. Like, all those things kind of put that together and said, okay, this is not the right thing for me. I'm not in the right spot. So I kind of had to reframe where my heart was and what my why was. So what was kind of driving my heart to wake up every day and go get after something. And that thing was music and teaching kids.
That's really exciting. In terms of like your music courses and stuff like that, we focus a lot on kind of our coursework and stuff like that. What is a class you like, hands down, is your favorite course that you've taken in music education?
Oh man. So for the music side of it, I'll split it up. I'll split music and then ed. So for music, Theory 2 with Ben Wooster was my favorite class. He talked about like why music and how it's structured and like why it sounds the way it does, how it makes us feel, how it evokes certain things within us. And I loved that concept of really diving into like why music is the way it is, and he taught that class so well. For the education side of it, my favorite class was Foundations of Ed with Dr. Laura Tejan. She is one of the most talented, passionate, and incredible teachers that I have ever met. She has a heart for her students unlike anything else, and she helped us really understand why we teach, and more importantly, that like the concept of less is more. Our students are the most important thing, and we should try to help them come up with the solutions and create what they're gonna learn and discover those things, as opposed to kind of that lecture model.
Okay, so you're getting ready to student teach this next semester,
yeah.
Right? Well, what are you doing to just really prepare yourself for that?
So right now I'm in my practicum. For those that don't know, that would be like observing in the secondary and the elementary schools. So I go for 8 hours in each the secondary and elementary. So right now I'm starting to plan lessons and run sectionals. I'm marking up my music, doing some score analysis. I'm reflecting on and recording my teaching and seeing kind of what went well, what didn't go well, what strategies work. A lot of it actually ends up being classroom management and less music teaching sometimes, but I'm learning a lot through kind of that video reflection and planning all those lessons.
Okay, so we're gonna go to, speaking of classes, the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay.
What's a class that either you just really disliked or that you really struggled with?
Okay. So I would say a class that I kind of struggled with, but also kind of enjoyed, was instrumentation and arranging. That class being primarily a vocalist, I played in trumpet and marching band, but I didn't have a lot of knowledge of like the score analysis or like the ranges of all the instruments, so I had to spend a lot of time reading and really trying to figure all that out. So when we did our final project, I did quintet, All I Ask of You from Phantom of the Opera. I had to really figure out like what can these guys play, what's gonna work, like so that when we played it, it didn't end up being a disaster.
So you're primarily a vocalist, but you mentioned you played trumpet and marching band. Was it very helpful to diversify a little bit and doing a little bit of both vocal and instrumental?
Absolutely, man. I cannot preach having a well-rounded experience more. I think there's value in both things, but for college and at this age, I think tasting a couple different aspects of what you want to do is so important. And marching band at K-State in particular is a family. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's tight, it's fun. Like, the trumpet players that I know there, like, so I had 7 groomsmen at my wedding, and 6 out of the 7, you were one of them. 6 out of those 7 were, or 5 out of those 7 were all trumpet players. So we're really tight, and I think marching band was an incredible experience to understand, number one, if I were to teach band, how I would do it. But number two, it's just a great way to get out of what you're comfortable with and kind of what you're diving into. So that was really exciting.
So going further into the idea of being well-rounded, what kind of involvement did you have, and how did it help shape you as an individual and as a future educator?
Oh, for sure, man. So, like, not only did I do marching band, but I also am a part of Phi Mu Alpha. So, Phi Mu Alpha Sinfonia is a music fraternity that we're both in. That was an incredible experience because we got to understand and have a tight-knit group of brothers that loved music and loved growing as people. So, it was really incredible to surround myself with people that are just so much more knowledgeable and so passionate, because I believe, like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time around, and those guys are a lot of that. So having those guys that are willing to kind of have those deep conversations about who you are, why we do what we do, why music is so powerful, that was another incredible experience that I had.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about involvement with a lot of music organizations, things like that. But a big issue with students and even teachers is burnout. What do you do outside of music that helps you avoid that?
Yeah, so I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I kind of believe in having a couple compartments in your life. So if music becomes the only thing you think about all the time, 24/7, like you said, you get kind of burnt out. So I like to kind of split up my day. So when I'm in music, I'm in McCain and I'm working, that's what I'm doing. But I also place a huge value on fitness in my life and a huge value on time with the ones I love. So starting with fitness, I make a very concerted effort to focus on my nutrition, eating my food and getting to the gym and having a good time.
And eating food is very important, as we've mentioned before. Please eat
those
food.
Things are awesome, yeah. So not only like kind of focusing on nutrition, but having a great time at the gym and chasing that passion too, and kind of setting goals for myself there helps me kind of take that focus away from music all the time, and it gets me to kind of have a little escape. And then also I just got married, yay for me, on May 26th this last semester. So having that quality time with my wife, or with, friends or whatever you're doing, away from that, and knowing that this is my time with my friends, it's my time at the gym, and then when I'm in music, that's what I'm doing.
Cool, that's really awesome. Tell me about like a teacher you've had, whether it was in high school, before that, or in college, that just really inspired you to teach.
Boom. Okay, this is easy. So I had my theater director my senior year. We had a teacher that was not so present and engaged my freshman through junior year in debate, forensics, and theater. But then she left, and we got a new coach. His name was Mr. Jason Haig. And this guy, he didn't teach me how to do theater. He didn't teach me how to give a speech. He didn't teach me how to sing. He taught me how to be a man and how to live life. And he taught that through the lens of all those things. Mm-hmm. So each day, so personally for my story, I didn't grow up with a dad, so I kind of didn't have that father figure in my life. So when he stepped into my life kind of as that father figure to show me, like, how to be a man and how to work and how to, get stuff done and how to really chase something with everything you got, he taught that through the lens of all those things. And when I saw him show up every day and give everything he had to me and to every other kid, that's what inspired me to be a teacher. I didn't know it yet because I was kind of on that business track, but then as I backtracked and I started to figure out that education was the path I wanted to go down,
teachers who've gone above and beyond the job description are really some of the most impactful.
Absolutely.
All right, so I have one final question. Let's take you back to freshman year, day one of when you walked on campus. I know you weren't even in music education yet, but what advice would you give to freshman you just on that first semester, on that first day? What advice would you tell yourself?
Man, So let me give you a little background first. So freshman year, I learned how to work my senior year in high school, but then when I got to college, I was kind of overwhelmed again with all this choice of major and I was kind of confused about everything. I wasn't in a great roommate situation. They're really dirty, as you'll find out. So I was kind of in a rough patch. So I think what I would have told myself freshman year is like, number one, figure out what you want to do and why you want to do it. Like, really take the time to think about that and to process through that. And don't let the rush of college and people asking you, oh, what's your major, kind of force you into having an answer that you're not fully satisfied with. And number two, not just knowing what and why you want to do it, but then consistency. Like, wake up each day and go after it, and know that, like, when you go after it and you're working really hard, get that done, and then come home and like have some time for yourself. So that kind of that compartmentalized idea of life. So again, number one, figure out what you want to do, why you want to do it, and number two, consistently go after that thing.
Awesome. Well, Jacob, thank you very much for being here for me to interview you. I greatly appreciate it. It's really fun. I'm sure everyone who listens and watches the video will greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Eric. Have a wonderful day.
So, be on the lookout for our newest episode of Not Your Forte, which is coming out this Friday. We're actually going to be talking about motivation and just kind of general kind of care and stuff like that. We know it's getting into the semester and midterms and things stack on each other, and we're just Dr. Payne and I are going to dive into that and really try to provide a little bit of help and a little bit of advice. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to send us an email at notyourfortepodcast@gmail.com. And other than that, if you could subscribe, hit the like button, do everything, all that good stuff. It really helps me and Dr. Payne, and hopefully it's helping out you guys. Thank you very much.